here today and speak. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it, and congratulations again on your promotion. So first, I'll give you a quick bio about myself. I'll elaborate a little bit more about our company, and then there's three. Oh, I need the remote. And then there's 3 points that I'll walk you through today that's pretty important to our company that relates to NPD and what's been happening in the market, and what Leslie said, how do you stay different? How do you disrupt the market? Thank you. So first, my bio, I'm from Boston, born and bred. My accent only comes out if I have more than 2 glasses of wine, so you won't hear it now, but you may have heard it last night. And I was on the retail side for 18 years. So I was a retail buyer and department manager for 18 years, and then I did the big jump to manufacturing 12 years ago, which brought me here to Meyer. So somebody in their early 50s having worked for only 2 corporations is pretty unique, especially to how the market is today. But I'm pretty proud to say that I've been able to grow and learn and hopefully add value over the years. So that's me. In terms of our company, as Laura mentioned, we do have a portfolio of brands, but we're everywhere. We're everywhere. We have a portfolio of brands that you would know in terms of what we call our home brands that we own: Analon, Circulon, Farberware, Raffoni, Bonjour, which is a warm beverage brand. Then we have our licensed partners. So Rachel Ray, as Laura mentioned, we also manufacture Paula Deen and Cake Boss. We have a new one that you'll all go ooh and ah, but I'll wait until that part of the presentation to talk about. And then we also do a lot of private label. So we manufacture and distribute cookware for Pampered Chef, for Kruskall and the Kirkland brand, Amway, etc. At times we've done Food Network for Kohl's, we've done JCPenney, we've done everybody. So from mass to department store, and gourmet is basically our strategy. So a lot of our competitors have one brand that fits, like a Kaplan for an example. It may fit the entire channel of distribution from mass to department. That's not our strategy. We use different brands to compete in different channels. So Farberware, for instance, is predominantly in mass, although it goes to department, but that's the big brand that competes with the $49.99 to say $99.99. And then mid-tier would be the celebrity brands, and then gourmet would be the Raffonis and the Analons and Circulons, where their distribution is a lot more narrow. So that kind of gives you an overall spectrum of the brands. The other thing that we're pretty proud of is we're vertically integrated. So we own our own factories in China, Thailand, and Italy. We manufacture our own cookware. We sourced all the other categories that we manufacture within housewares. We own a couple of companies for lids, for glass lids, for handles, for packaging, etc. So I think you get it. We're vertically integrated. So the first slide I'll talk about is the agenda for today. So technology advancements, staying relevant with consumers, and building upon the ever-growing e-commerce platform. So technology advancements is a little bit easier for our company because our CEO, which is privately owned, is an engineer. So he's always thinking about how can we help the consumer. And that's hopefully going to be the message that you'll hear from me today. We try very, very hard. It's not always that easy, but you always want to try to think of the customer that's here first. It's very easy, and we used to be like this as well, that you spend so much time thinking about your brand and how do you develop the brand, and you hope the customer will like it. And I remember when I was a buyer, I used to be the same thing. You would have some analysis, just basic POS, and you would see what sold and then try to buy more. But back then, in the 1800s when I was a buyer, you didn't have all this information that obviously NPD and a lot of other suppliers have. You have all these touch points of the consumer. So it's a paradigm shift in strategy to think, let's take a step back and let's think about the consumer and what do they really want. So in our world, do they want nonstick? Do they want durability? Do they not want nonstick? Do they want a heavy pan? Do they want a light pan? What do they want? Once you kind of understand what they want, and then you can support it with data like what we see obviously from NPD. It's like you do a shot every time you say NPD. NPD. I scored a point. I said it 3 times so far. Then you start working on the strategy of the brand, and that's again, it's a huge shift to start from the consumer, that's the end person buying the product, to how do you develop it for them. And so for me, it's extremely exciting because it's a different way to think, and it does tie into corporate culture because obviously people that have been around for a long time that has a lot of experience are used to doing it like, here's the brand and let's see what happens. Whereas most people today think differently because obviously you have all of this analysis and Google, Amazon's at your fingertips to learn. So the more you learn, the more you can obviously give the consumer what they want, which should be a win-win for everybody. So a little bit of a tangent, but it does relate to technology advancements. Because if they want technology, and they do because they research it online, we want to be that brand for them. So just a couple examples. As Laura mentioned earlier, two of the founding brands in the company, Circulon and Analon, is based on technology. Circulon is in the picture with the spatula. I won't get real technical and boring on you. However, who cooks? Why am I not surprised? More than 60% of us. She goes out to eat a lot, I can tell. So for Circulon, it was the first gourmet cookware to be hard anodized nonstick, and the technology is, so you see the circles as in Circulon? So the circles have highs and lows, right? Because in between the circles are lower grooves or peaks and valleys. So when you take a spatula over the peaks and valleys, you're really only hitting the top of it, right? So you're not hitting the bottom of the pan. So the nonstick outlasts all others, guaranteed as we say, because you're not using the complete surface. So it serves a need, it serves a purpose. You don't have to replace your cookware so much when you buy gourmet cookware. So that's the thought process that we have. I don't have it in the slide here, but I'm going to challenge you all to Google this after. Our CEO and founder, Stanley Chang, he, like I mentioned earlier, is an engineer by trade. So his brand, Helen and Stanley, his wife, and she's first as he likes to call out, Heston, is a new brand that we launched that's it's culinary solutions. So it's beautiful wine that we own, and we launched this brand at Wayne, Sonoma. Heston Nanobond cookware is something we launched just last month. Stainless steel. Stainless steel hasn't changed in about 100 years, and he created this technology that makes it like 1,000 times harder. I'm going to screw up my presentation now because I'm getting too technical, but there's new technology on the Nanobond that will revolutionize that category. It's about 1,000 times stronger than stainless steel today, and about 35% stronger than all-clad or clad material, and it's stainless steel. So again, just to give you an idea of our thinking, how do you take a category that hasn't changed in 100 years? It's stainless steel, right? It's polished on the outside, polished on the inside, dishwasher safe, fairly good conductor of heat, and he's revolutionized it. It's exclusive to Wayne, Sonoma. If you want to go online and purchase a pan, it's pricey, but it's worth the price when you understand the content of it. And there's a lot of other advancements that we've had. The move to manufacture in the United States is something that we're not 100% there on, and that is confidential if you don't mind. However, that is our plan for this year. We're thinking like the consumer, to compete with Amazon and all the other B2B and omni-channel sites. Everybody wants everything fast, right? They want to research it, they want to understand it, and they want it that day or within that hour. So being able to manufacture in the United States, that obviously, number one, is important for the consumer, according to NPD, that we learned. It's extremely important to the consumer. It is bringing more jobs to the United States. We've learned that it means quality, which is really important, and obviously speed to market. It helps us get the product faster in their hands. So we're really excited about this endeavor. It would be where our offices are in California. And again, knock on wood, we're hoping to have this up and running by the end of this year. Okay, any questions so far?
Do you have to change your price point as a result of the onshore manufacturing?
Believe it or not, and so far the research that we've done, the pricing is hopefully going to come out about even, which is why we think it makes a lot of sense.
Great.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. We're saving so much on the shipping, and we have a lot of manufacturing requirements already that we obviously ran the numbers, and if it's the same and you could call out made in the United States, it's a big deal to the consumer. So it's more of a test. However, Walmart's initiative is probably like number 2 or 3. The CEO actually came to Chicago a couple weeks ago, and he talked a lot about that. So we want to be their vendor of choice, which is pretty exciting. Any other questions? And we'll have a Q&A at the end. Okay. That was the big surprise. Staying relevant with the consumer is next. So this is really, really important. This part of the presentation, I hope, is what you take away the most from. This is not easy, and it goes back to what I was saying earlier. You can't stay relevant to the consumer if you don't know them. You have to know them. And again, we always look at it as, if you think about it when you shop now, you leave touch points on everything. Whether it's the color that you like, where you shop, how fast you want something, whether it's ready to wear or home or electronics. It doesn't really matter, but you leave footprints everywhere, which is just so exciting. The data is very exciting. So we really have focused that on our strategy for brands to understand that first. So it ties to what I was saying in the beginning. So when we did this, we looked at our brand portfolio, and we realized that there were two huge segments that we weren't speaking directly to the consumer. So when I say speaking directly to the consumer, meaning we need to understand them and then make sure that we have something within our brand portfolio that will take care of their needs. However, the messaging is really hard. So if you know who they are and then you know what they want, you're only halfway there. So how do you get there? So two things that we've done this year. Number one is the Hispanic market. Well, obviously the Hispanic consumer in the United States has been buying all of our brands over the years, 9 or 10 brands in our portfolio. However, have we really talked to them directly in terms of recipes, messaging on the packaging, multilingual language, the items that we have? All of those, we did consumer insights. We actually went into the homes of consumers in Los Angeles. We watched them cook. We looked how big their kitchen was, what items did they use. We learned so much about this consumer, and we realized, number one, of course they use our products. The number one item is like a pressure cooker, then a roaster, a skillet, and a saucepan. And everybody's perception was that they have a Caldero pan, a fajita pan, all these specialty pieces. Well, it's not. It's not. We didn't learn how they cook and who they are. So we did, and I have 2 minutes already left? Okay, so we did, and now we are launching under the Farber brand because we realized the Farber brand was a brand that resonated with them, and it's called Buena Cocina. And we're launching this new brand that will speak to them. The other thing we did, which is very, very interesting, somebody on my team, he realized when he went into Google Analytics that a Spanish-speaking consumer, if you type in, I can't think of the word right now, but sartén, which is Spanish for saucepan, like 200 saucepans came out when you Google it out of like 150,000. So now we went back into our copy and into our Google ad search, and we now have Spanish words for all of our products. So again, nobody was speaking to this consumer, and now they'll be able to find ours quicker. So that's one example. This is the next example, this lovely lady. So Aisha Curry. So Aisha Curry may not be well known to all of you. Raise your hand if you do know who she is. Great. So she is pretty amazing. She is 28 years old as of about 4 days ago. She's married to basketball star Steph Curry. She is a mom of 2, Riley and Ryan. And it's a beautiful story. She basically grew up with a household of 4 kids, and her passion was always cooking. It was her way to kind of speak up over her siblings. I believe she's the youngest or the second youngest. And she fell in love with Martha Stewart. And she always wanted to be a Martha Stewart her entire life. And she always cooked, and she then started a blog. And now she has, you ready for this? 5 million Instagram followers. She has 5 million Instagram followers. She has a blog. She has a Food Network show. Just got renewed for season 2. She launched a cookbook that pre-sold top 10 on Amazon. And we probably will be launching her as a lifestyle brand in the guise of the way we did Rachel Ray in October at retail. So we had her at the show, and every single retailer wants to bring her in. So staying relevant with the consumers is why I bring this up. She brings to us a whole new demographic that we haven't talked to directly. Her age, yes, it is that millennial segmentation. However, the main thing for me is she's a mom of 2 that wants a career. Well, how many people, have that in their lives? So she really speaks to a lot of consumers. She's multi-diverse as well. So between her diversity, her age segmentation, and who she is in terms of her lifestyle and her upbringing of family, which is what the brand is all about, sharing and family, we really think that we're speaking to the customer. Okay, I'm out of time. I did have one more point, but obviously we could talk about this later. Building upon the e-commerce platform. Obviously, this is just an idea of, an example, of a lot of the third-party companies that we use to track those footprints that we talked about, analyze our product reviews, and then obviously NPD to understand the POS data, group that all together, sit down, talk about it, try to understand the customer, and then go to market. Okay? Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.